Hi, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for the Membership and Marketing webinar for PACs. Thank you for joining us and spending a little bit of your time this evening to hear about some of the resources that are available for you and your Cub Scout PAC as we go into the fall in our recruiting efforts. Tonight's webinar is being recorded so that we can share it with others later on in August and throughout the fall. With me tonight, first of all, I'm Derek Wirtz. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Daniel Webster Council, and with me this evening is Tyler Yankee, who is our Field Director. So we'll get started with a couple of things tonight and talk about a little bit of what the fall will look like and how we plan to support the fall recruiting efforts, as well as resources that are available to your PAC to help plan with virtual programming as well as in-person activities throughout the fall and into next year. So we know that what we're facing is potentially the new normal for an extended period of time, and more than likely the name of the fall will be hybrid programming, meaning that you may be able to continue to do small in-person groups such as den meetings, or have parts of your PAC meet together. Certainly there will be continued opportunity for virtual activities, and then more than likely the scenario will be a mixture of both in-person and virtual, depending on the size of your PAC or group of scouts. We still aren't clear with what each of our schools will be doing for their learning scenarios this fall. It appears that many of our schools will be doing a blended model of virtual and in-person learning. However, many are still not decided on what that will be. So as we move closer to the beginning of the school year, that may help define what type of recruiting model you and your PAC will need to be using as we go forward. And we'll address some of those scenarios a little bit later in the program. Later on, we'll also talk about some virtual programming and the support that's being offered so that your PAC has resources to be able to deliver some virtual programming itself, as well as take advantage of programming that we will be offering both here at Daniel Webster Council, as well as some things from the national office. So unfortunately, I am here to tell you that there's no magic bullet to make this fall easy or successful, and flexibility is going to be the name of the ball game going through. So what we're hoping to do is make an atmosphere and provide resources where all of you can share ideas, and that we as the staff of the Daniel Webster Council will work with you, as well as continue to update and provide real-time information on our website and on social media, so that you have the most current information, as well as the best usable tools to get your program running and continue to onboard new families into scouting as we work through our new normal. You'll remember earlier in the year we notified you after finding out from the national office that as of this past Saturday, fee increases went into effect for 2020 and into 2021. So the new youth member fee is $66, as well as there's a one-time per youth joining fee of $25. There's a $42 fee for all adult members. Online applications will be limited to using debit and credit cards this year. In the past, there was the ability for a new family to say that they would pay by check or cash in person when they came to one of your PAC functions. This year, Applications will be paid for by debit or credit cards, and that will include the prorated fee for the Scout joining, as well as the one-time joining fee. It will also include the DWC insurance fee, which you'll remember we announced that we will be keeping flat for another year based on the membership fee increase that was announced from the national office. I'll turn the program over to Tyler to talk about some of the membership and marketing resources and the tools for this fall.
Thanks, Derek. I'm so excited to get into it that I jumped the gun a little bit. Just a reminder, we put into the chat some helpful hints for this evening. If you have questions as we go through, please just hit the Q&A section in your menu on Zoom. Type in your questions, and we'll get to them throughout the evening. In addition, I know several of you sent in questions during your time of registration, and we'll go over a good majority of those after we conclude this segment on what resources are available, because some of those questions did tie into that. So we'll play along here and go through, and then we'll show you some helpful resources online as well as we go through. First is the Daniel Webster Council website, nhscouting.org. What we have in our resources section, which can be accessed in multiple ways, and I'll show you that shortly, is a membership and marketing hub. This hub is being updated on Wednesday afternoon, so we'll be adding a lot more resources to it, including the webinar for this evening and the slide deck, as well as some of the other items that we're going to go through tonight. So Wednesday afternoon, that'll get updated, and it'll include some troop and crew information as well after we conclude our webinar tomorrow evening for those programs. Give you a quick tour of it. Let me jump over. So when you go to nhscouting.org, you'll see our membership and marketing hub can be accessed through the more in our navigation. It has membership and marketing there as a quick link, as well as right on our homepage. If you scroll through our homepage, you'll find 6 little cards that'll segment out some quick links on the council website as well. Our membership marketing hub, like I said, is going to be updated on Wednesday, but right now you'll find a lot of resources here. This Share a Story is a way for you to share with us all the exciting things that you're doing in scouting. Also, we will help you write your press releases and those things if you want to submit there. It's a very simple form. You fill out all the details about your event, add any pictures, and we will help you with writing press releases and getting the word out about your program. You'll also find there, as well as I'll show you here at the bottom of the page, downloadable templates that you could just fill in your information and distribute that to your local news group as well for unit press releases at any time. As you go through here, you'll find quick links to the BSA Brand Center, which will show you some of the great and exciting new updates that have been presented on the BSA Brand Center to support your fall recruitment efforts. A quick link to our growth resources. As I indicated, this will be updated on Wednesday afternoon. This includes kind of an overview of the Daniel Webster Council membership plan for 2020 pre-COVID. So we're making some updates there, but it has a lot of really good best practices that you can use anytime in our new normal as well. How to get your unit on the map using Google Business. It's a great step-by-step guide here. It allows you to populate all of the information right on the home page. I'll give you a live example here. So if we go to Google and we type in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, which is where I used to live, Doylestown, Pennsylvania Cub Scouts, what you'll find right at the top is information in the Google Business platform about the Cub Scouts that are in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. So if you were to click on this Pack 52, you'll notice they're in the top rankings here, as well as they have kind of a segmented spot Google and on Google Map using the Google for Business platform, which is free, and it kind of builds you out a one-page website that you can house all the information about your unit and chartered partner live on Google. So that's a great resource there. We are continuing a refer a friend scouting promotion, $25 Amazon gift card every month as a giveaway. You just submit some information there about friends that you'd like to refer to scouting. We'll follow up with them on kind of some welcome opportunities to join as well, and be entered in for a $25 gift card there. And then it continues down with some additional information about how to update your beascout.org pin, which is very crucial, as well as using the online registration system. New into my.scouting this year, and just was updated about 2 weeks ago, is the ability for your unit to designate a registration person. This gives them access to the online application portal, as well as a Key 3 delegate. So what that does is, as you know, your unit Key 3, Cub Master, committee chair, or chartered organization representative are authorized to manage your beascout.org pin and online registration system. This gives your chartered organization rep a person that they can assign in their unit as the delegate to help manage with some of those things. It does not give them the authority to approve adult applications. However, it does kind of help speed up the process for some of the other delegated responsibilities in the Unit Key 3 role in my.scouting. So that's a great resource. If you click to learn more, it takes you right to the page that walks you through the entire thing. And then, of course, just a very brief summary about some of the resources we offer. We are going to continue with the traditional flyer program, helping you with flyers, getting them into the schools where the schools will allow. We're finding some of the restrictions that they just won't allow outside vendors to come into the school. So we're going to find that a little bit challenging, but our team's working with all of our elementary schools and SAUs to get a true understanding of what's going to be allowed and what's not, and how we can get information about scouts into the hands of the youth and the families. One big change for this year as well is the Boys Life mini magazine. That's gone digital, so we no longer have the paper Boys Life mags that we can hand out to prospective families. That's gone all digital, and a quick link will be available for that in the redesign page that's launching on Wednesday. And then if, for example, we mentioned the growth resources, if you were to click here, this gives you kind of a trifold brochure you can download, plug in all the information, the growth plan, a backdater that you can see from January through December on action steps as well. And later on this evening, when Derek is back at presenting, we'll discuss a little bit about the mobile scouting experience trailer and how you could use this for small group recruitment. Get back to the presentation. So we talked about kind of the how-tos, where you can find all those great resources on the hub. That'll be updated, as I mentioned, Wednesday afternoon. So definitely check back for that. Some of the other great resources and go over some of the initiatives that we're doing. I mentioned we're going to talk about continue with the flyer program, helping you get the information out with flyers, paper flyers into school. We'll help you design things such as getting ad placements or church bulletin inserts out to your religious institutions, if that's something that you want to try as well, plus a wide variety. We have a lot of ability to customize materials and help print those for you, and even come up with alternative solutions. So as you work through it the fall and you're finding things that you're looking for or needing to use, please reach out to your district executive or your district membership growth team to coordinate those resources. Some of the things that we're doing now currently to support all of your efforts for recruitment. We're one of 55 councils in the country that are going to participate in a geofencing program. That program is built inside Facebook. Many of you may have participated in the past, but we capture your sign-up information, whether it's a virtual or an in-person recruitment event, and we'll geofence that location on Facebook, create a Facebook event for it, as well as geofence something like your local elementary school. And then as families are visiting those locations, they'll start receiving more of that information into their Facebook news feed. So it allows them to capture and find other avenues of getting words out about your upcoming recruitment events. So your district membership team will be releasing kind of a form later on this week that you'll be able to fill in with all of your upcoming recruitment nights. And we'll be able to work with the National Council to get those live on Facebook and the geofencing platform. So we're very excited about that. It takes about a 14-day lead time. So as much lead time as we can get for getting the information from you, filling out the form, 14 days for that to get populated live on Facebook. So that gives you a little bit more extra time to really plan out your upcoming recruitment events. We're also launching a Google AdWords campaign through the Google for Nonprofits program. We're optimizing some of our website platform now, and then that'll be releasing this fall. And what that does is it adds some boosted activity inside Google searches based on keywords that people look at about scouting, so we can get joint information right at the top of the Google feed. And the National Council is also doing that on a nationwide basis as well through AdWords. They're also doing a digital advertising campaign. This will benefit all of us, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So I'm very excited about that. And I'll show you some of those resources that are available for you to use on your own social media platforms. And of course, I talked about the Google campaign that National is doing as well. We support your publication and marketing of your own unit. So we do have press release templates live on the Membership and Marketing Hub, but we'll also help you write those. So if it's not something you're comfortable with, just fill out the form that's on our Membership and Marketing Hub, and our team will help get the word out about scouting for you. And then this gives us the way to really kind of market the fun stuff that scouting is doing. And then the BSA Brand Center, and I'll go through some of those changes now, updated some new videos that you can use in a digital platform to disseminate information out about scouting, kind of like the traditional Scout Talk approach. And it's done not only for adults, but also for youth. A great resource to communicate with your school, as well as on your own social media about the fun that scouting has to offer and how to join. And we can help customize kind of the end of those to add a little call to action or a little teaser about your Cub Scout pack as well. That just takes some communication to us to help you with that approach. I'll show you the BSA Brand Center. If you haven't been to it yet, it can be accessed through scoutingwire.org, or you can Google the BSA Brand Center, pops right up. So let me take a moment to show you the new changes. So this is what the BSA Brand Center looks like when you go to the main page after you accept the kind of the opening of the page. And this is all BSA approved resources ready for you to use at any time to deliver right out of the scouting program. So tons of pictures, tons of videos, support materials for upcoming events like the Family Fun Fest that's taking place this Saturday live on Facebook, the Boys Life Mini Mag, and a lot of stock imagery. We don't use a ton of the stock imagery because we want to make sure that we're reflecting our own programs here in New Hampshire, but the videos are really good. So show you these. When you click on the Cub Scout section, here are all the great resources that you have available. Pinewood Derby materials, peer-to-peer recruitment cards. It's a downloadable, fillable PDF. You can download that, fill on the backside all the information about peer-to-peer recruitment, trifold brochures. This is available on the Membership and Marketing Hub, but if you were to open it up, here you can download it straight online, and it'll have spots in here where you can fill in your own information about your Cub Scout pack as a fillable PDF and download it right online and print it out, make it available for anybody to use. There's also a ton of email templates, flyers. We do use some of the stock flyers that we get printed, and then we create on the fillable. These are all fillable PDFs. If you notice this white spot that's down here at the bottom of the flyer, this is a fillable PDF. You can save this right online, fill in your information here in this white area, and make that available digitally at any time. At the local council, we'll still have some print flyers, and we'll have those available to use the space on the backside for showcasing what your unit's all about. And then the videos are really good for social media promotions. There's a variety of different things. Short videos live on social media, Instagram's 30-second video spot, some longer ones for Facebook. And these recruitment videos are actually really great. There are kids talking about the fun that they do in Cub Scouts. There are some that are both genders, male and female, some that are just male, some that are just female. Really some really exciting stuff. And then there's some adult videos as well, talk about what scouting has to offer and the values it brings to families at the adult perspective as well. So the scout videos are really tailored towards the kids, and these 5-question adult videos are really tailored towards adults. So pretty exciting stuff, some new resources that are available. And the fall recruitment section is continuing to get updated constantly. And this is where you would go and find any additional insignia or logos you want to use at any time. You can download them right online. You can do insignia for the Cub Scout rank advancements and the adventure loops. It's all here and ready for you to use at any time. So great resources. It's getting updated every week. Awesome place for you guys just to go pull down any information that you want to help support your marketing efforts for Cub Scouts. And of course, if there's something that you can't find, we'd be happy to help you with that and help you design something if it's not available. And then mention we're still going to support with flyers. We have yard signs available you can use. We have our team, our district executives, our district membership growth team from the volunteer level, as well as our council level to answer any questions. The best we can do to help is as frequent as you can communicate with us. So we're always here for that. And then this fall, we're also expanding our resources to offer more Cub Scouting at home programming, whether it's through Nova Award workshops that can be done inside Google Classroom. We offered some of those a couple weeks ago. And then I'll touch on here shortly a little bit about the virtual DIN meeting resources that are going to be available beginning in September. All of these resources are free to you as a unit. We may offer things like a Nova Award workshop that's a little specialized that we may charge a $5 or $10 online workshop. We do that only solely to provide the resources to make it possible to do. We're currently working with PBS through one of our district executives in the Concord area to help deliver more STEM-based programming to your Cub Scouts this fall. But all of our resources like flyers, yard signs, the virtual DIN meeting resources that are going to be available beginning in September, all of those are free. And then don't forget about the DIN leader experiences that are inside Scoutbook as well. Those resources are free. So there are a ton of good stuff. It's only more is going to be made available over the next 4 weeks. And if you haven't checked out the new Cub Scout Hub on scouting.org, a lot of new updated resources there as well. We'll give Derek some time here shortly to talk a little bit about direct mail. And then, of course, we're going to expand our Granite Base Camp programs. Before we get to that, I wanted to show you one other resource we had, and then I'll give some time for questions because I know a few came up. One other resource that we developed recently is our Daniel Webster Council forum on Facebook. So if you're not a Facebook user, we do communicate on Twitter and Instagram as well as LinkedIn, but we do have a Daniel Webster Council Facebook forum group. You can access this by going to the Daniel Webster Council Facebook page and clicking on groups, or you can just search Daniel Webster Council forum. This is just one additional tool into our arsenal of communication flow. And we'll be also releasing once a month membership newsletter best practices, all tops highlights as well. But here you'll find kind of a flow of communication about different items that are available for you to use, reminders about upcoming events, but it's also a forum for volunteers to communicate and interact with one another. So if you have an idea to share or questions, or you're looking for an answer, or you have an upcoming fundraiser you want to share information about, these are all a great place to do that. We just uploaded tonight a volunteer recruitment idea book. We'll have this on the membership and marketing hub on Wednesday afternoon, but it's a very, asked me to download it. It's a quick tutorial, about 4 pages that talk about different processes and ideas that are available for you to use. Special projects that we have coming up that we're looking for items. Use this just to even interact with other volunteers and ask questions. We did add this piece, which I'll put up, is 5 steps to running a virtual recruitment event. Included it here in the chat as well. Derek has added several links in the chat. These are all will be available if they're not already on the membership and marketing hub. But here, and I added this in the chat, you can click the link and download it at your leisure, are kind of a simple 5-step process for running a virtual recruitment event. You know, the first key is identifying what's a platform that you're going to use to hold a virtual meeting for your parents and prospective scouts. Some of you may already be using Zoom as a platform to do that, and a great resource for you to use. The council, Daniel Webster Council, does not have the financial ability to offer Zoom platforms for all of our units to run recruitment events or virtual meetings. So our main role is to, one, how can we help you access something like that, whether a parent in your unit currently has access to that platform, but also how can we help you be successful in using those resources, not only for a recruitment event, but for virtual den meetings. So as we continue to go through the fall, we'll have kind of sections and webinars on best practices for running a virtual meeting, or how to use the new Den Leader adventure videos that are going to be released in September, to use those as a way to supplement your virtual den meetings and allow parents to continue to advance. But the main important part is, in Cub Scouts, it's all about doing your best. So that is just one thing that we all have to continue to remember and be flexible as parents. Work with not only different scenarios at home with virtual learning, but also adapting to virtual Cub Scouts and small group in-person programming. This document is a really great step. 2 key points on being successful on a virtual recruitment. One is having your unit accept online registrations. So if you haven't turned that on yet, it's important that you do so. That's all available on my.scouting. And also having a platform to distribute information about Cub Scouts in a virtual rally. So this document is a great resource to support that. I'm gonna spend some time here for questions. Let's see here. One from Elaine. What do you mean by geofence? So geofencing is a web technique that captures your environment when you're on your cell phone, and then it creates a behavior so you start receiving information based on your location of how you're using apps on your phone. So when you download an app on your phone, like Twitter or Facebook, it asks you to allow it to accept your location. By accepting your location, it creates kind of where you're at currently, position-wise, as sitting in your car, being in a parking lot, all that information, and then it tailors the items that you see based on your location. The same thing applies when you do a Google search. So if you're searching for things like um, maple syrup, for example, you may see more information about New Hampshire maple syrup than Vermont maple syrup just because you're in New Hampshire. If you looked for scouting, right? If you typed in scouting, you'll probably see more information about scouting in New Hampshire and the Boy Scouts of America than you would about scouting in Florida, for example. So it's just an online behavior of using your physical location to deliver more information that may be relevant to you. Question about registering adults online. That feature is going, if it has not been turned on already this week, is going to be made available to do so. The one thing about online registration is it will not accept transfers. So it's just going to be new youth and new adults that'll be available to register online. And then, of course, your chartered organization representative, if you did the online application, would have to be an active user to go in and approve those adult registrations. It will flag it about youth protection and those things as well. So that process is going to be available and seamless. Will there be a question about a package? In the past, we did new member orientation packets that included information about where the Scout Shop is located, upcoming events, youth and adult applications, Boys Life mini magazines. We are happy to help put those packets together for you if it's something that you will use for an upcoming in-person event. Previously, we always built something in bulk because we had a uniformed recruitment plan that covered the entire council across the state, but each town is going to be different and each pack is going to be different. So a lot of these resources are available on demand. Just coordinate with your district executive and district membership growth team to get those resources available for you. Questions about compensation and fees. I believe that's going to be question as it relates to financial assistance for membership fees. If that's incorrect, Dave, please post in another question with clarification. We do offer some financial assistance for families that are in need for joining Scouts. All of that is done on a case-by-case basis, and you can start that process by reaching out to Derek Wirtz directly. Derek's email is at the top of the chat. He can plug it in again. Derek manages that, and we do have a program that's coming out this fall that will benefit some of our families as well. Question about ideas of holding a virtual recruitment event, provide activities for kids online, collaborating with other area packs. Great questions, great suggestions. So the Family Fun Fest that's taking place on Saturday is kind of a national kickoff on how you can design and operate a variety of activities to do a virtual recruitment event. So whether it's a everybody does an activity at home, information that's live online, things like that as well. It's all new for us, and it's recruiting kids online is new for us as well. Nobody in the organization has done it before. So while we don't have best practice activities to deliver for you today to say this is the 5 things to do, we do have the steps on providing that as a resource and then thinking collaboratively with families on what are ways that you can engage kids available online as well. Part of that could be doing a adventure loop online with your families of getting some resources available, or part of it could be doing a campfire or a pack camp out, or variety of those things, just breaking down the basic tenets of the adventure loop, and then how could you do that live on video is a great resource. And collaborating with other area packs. One thing that I think we don't do a lot of is collaboration and working together in our communities because every pack operates their program differently. Best way to do that is coordinate with your district executive or membership growth team member, volunteer team member that's dedicated on your district committee for membership to help build kind of that camaraderie. Wanna-Lancet District does a great job with that in the Concord area. We'll have those resources as kind of points of contact on our membership and marketing hub for people you can reach out to with questions as they come in as well. So that'll be added to that. That's a great suggestion. And then the online forum is another spot to get started with that as well. As we find best practices for activities to do during a virtual recruitment event, we will share them as they come. But right now, the best things we've done is this spring we offered kind of a bring a friend to a PAC hosted campfire or camp out in the backyard is a great example. We talked about, I'm going over some of the questions here that came in during registration. One was, what does remote Cub Scouts look like? And we don't know yet. It's definitely going to be something that we all have to do our best on and be creative of how we look at adventure loop requirements and more family-based activities and less kind of in front of the screen teaching, but more of here's a way that we can break down the adventure loop requirement for families to do together. The parent or guardian is the AKALA. So definitely can work on those activities. And then in a den meeting, if you did it virtually, or small group in a public park would be a great way to follow up on those requirements. PAC costs for remote lessons, the new virtual adventure loop videos that'll be released in September are going to be made available free for everybody. In the future, they'll be added into Scoutbook, but because it's an immediate need, they'll be available on an outside video hosting platform. And as soon as those are released, we will make sure that we share the word about those as well. And then that'll have a variety of den meeting resources, how to run virtual meetings, activities, ideas that you can think about in a virtual setting, how to do an adventure loop in a virtual environment, a lot of pre-recorded stuff that if your families feel behind in their advancement trail, they can certainly interact with those to get them up to date. A couple more questions are coming in, but I want give Derek some time to talk about some fun interactive stuff that we're doing with our mobile experience trailer, if you haven't heard about it yet, as well as information about our direct mail and other marketing strategies that we're working on.
Thanks, Tyler. A lot of great information there. Certainly a lot to digest. Hopefully the links that are in the chat will be helpful for you to pull that information down. Again, a lot of those resources, or almost everything that was described tonight, will appear on the updated membership and marketing hub, which is being updated later in the week. So you'll be able to go there as your one-stop shop. Tyler mentioned about our mobile base camp, which is the mobile scouting experience that we first rolled out in September or October of last year with some fun experiences. And you'll see that the picture that's on your screen is a setup of the mobile base camp. This particular setup was at the Glendy Festival in Manchester, where about 50,000 families go through, or attendees go through throughout the fall or throughout the weekend. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to set up as part of that this fall. However, we do have this resource available for your PAC to be able to set up for some small group recruiting. The pieces of the mobile base camp on your left is a Gaga pit. There's the small round net is spike ball. In the back, the red inflatable is a Daisy BB range, and to the right, there's a green inflatable, and that's the backstop for the archery range. We may not be able to use the Gaga pit or the spike ball because of being able to sanitize all of those elements. However, we currently believe that we'll be able to provide the archery and BB experience as well as potentially some STEM and craft type experiences for your program. The best scenario for our mobile base camp would be for your pack to be doing small group recruiting. So if it's available on a Saturday morning, we may be able to come to the school parking lot, church grounds, or the town park, set up some of these elements, and we may invite the kindergarten age students to come from like the wolf and bears to come from like noon to 2, so that we can keep the groups small and interactive, not exceeding large cohorts of people. So you can coordinate getting this either through your district executive or through Tyler and I. We will make this available on a first come, first served basis to support your small group recruiting as may be available throughout the remainder of the fall. And in addition to being able to support those fun activities in person, we are going to be spending about $50,000 in direct mail to families throughout the state of New Hampshire with known youth between the ages of 5 and 13 in the household. And part of that mailing will be some informational pieces about scouting, as well as a mailing piece that will direct them how to join Cub Scouting in their community. So there will be more about that. We're coordinating that through our districts and making that resource available to communities throughout the state. We hope to be able to do some small group activities at both Camp Carpenter and Griswold Scout Reservation. Some of these may be activities that you can pass off to den leaders to be able to organize their dens to go off to camp at a time that's convenient for all their families, and have some self-guided activities throughout camp, potentially having the QR codes available that would make for a guided hike or nature activities throughout camp, where all they would need is their cell phone or mobile device to be able to access all of those things. So everything that we're providing is going to continue to evolve, and the membership and marketing hub is going to be the location that keeps all of that fresh and new as it changes and as it is updated. So we're excited to be able to offer all of these things, as well as do some new things to be able to support onboarding new families into scouting this year, amidst all of the trying pieces of the pandemic, the unfortunate bad news surrounding the Boy Scouts, and the bankruptcy, and the fee increase that has come along with all of those pieces together. So all of those resources are available. We're excited to support you and work to that. Tyler, we have some other activities to share.
Great, thanks, Derek. Before we get into kind of the last section for this evening, which is really focusing on that every community is going to be different in Daniel Webster Council. So unlike previous years where we had a one membership plan that kind of encompassed all, it's very locally focused this year. So your district executive and your volunteer membership teams will be working with each of you in other Cub Scout packs in your area to find something that will be a solution for you and for your unit. We did have a couple questions before we get into the section. One is as it relates to the marketing and small groups and finding it difficult to run scouting for kindergartner and first graders in a virtual environment. Definitely very challenging. And we do know that the price increase does have some difficulty for all families, even before COVID came about. And really the increase in the BSA membership fees is just to ensure that the organization that we all believe in and love very dearly can continue on and do more character building programs in the future. The BSA membership fees, the yearly membership plus the one-time joining fee goes directly to support the National Council. The National Council provides a wealth of resources to us, including the geofencing and the new online video programs, plus so much more. And then the $6 insurance fee is the accident liability insurance for all registered leaders. That is local, and that's actually only funded 50%. Local council funds the other 50. I share that with you because it's a challenge for all families for the price tag, including the packed in fees. The thing that we've really worked with a lot of Cub Scout packs on is new fundraising opportunities in a COVID world, one of which is an entire new program on trails and popcorn through online selling. It's been very productive this summer throughout the country in the new online direct program. Information on that, you can coordinate with your district executive or check out our popcorn page on the council website. Our advice on small groups is it still gives you the option to have small group meetings while being socially distant. We do have a requirement locally in the council of no larger of a group of 50. So it's certainly possible to continue operating in-person scouting programs at the den level. We only have 13 units in the state that have more than 40 kids in them. So the ability to do small group programming, whether it's at a local park while socially distancing and making adjustments for sport type programming, for example, that is all there and still possible to do. It'll just be a little creativity. There will be times that you'll run into issues with finding locations, and that was a question that came in as well. We do know that a lot of schools have closed for outside vendors, and a lot of units utilize the school as a place to meet because maybe their chartered partner isn't large enough to have those facilities, and if they are, maybe the school is just a little bit more convenient. We do know units are going to continue to have that challenge. We don't have an immediate solution other than working with you as a unit to identify alternative places to reach out to. Your district executive is very in tune with facilities and things that are going on inside your community as far as other partners to work with to find alternative meeting locations as well. So they are a great resource if you're running into meeting space or want to get creative on finding a new place to meet. That's certainly there. We do not believe that scouting will continue just all virtually. I think we'll just operate a little bit differently in a den style, and we'll discuss a little bit about that momentarily as well. Question that came in about budget that shows the annual cost that includes kind of the full fees, including any local council or advancement fees. That is not something that we have or have developed in the past, because each unit advances differently, and each one pays a little bit differently, and each rank would be more or less expensive depending on how many adventure loops you're required to do, plus all the additional pins. So those pricing structures are a little bit different. We do have the general what it is to be a member, but each pack operates a little bit differently, and each rank is going to operate differently as far as advancement prices, etc. So if you have questions or looking for those types of resources, we definitely are happy to help and work with you on finding something that's specific for you. Get through the questions there. So I want to talk a little bit more about the need for being flexible and adapting. Our number one approach is, how can we work together to find a solution that's going to work for you? And then what are ways that you as a unit can interact more with your local school or other groups? So some great best practices, even in COVID environments and the new normal, is the BSA Adopt a School program. This resource came out in about 2010, very underutilized in my opinion. The website is scouting.org/adopt-a-school. This allows you and gives you some ideas of ways that you can interact with your school in a new environment to build your relationship and showcase scouting. For example, we have Pack 75 in Bow, New Hampshire, that in a virtual school environment, their Cub Scout pack led the Pledge of Allegiance one morning in uniform to all the school. So these are other very small, easy marketable pieces that you can do to participate and grow the presence of your pack while still building a strong relationship with the local school. Another example could be service projects, doing a garden in front of the school, or doing the flower beds, or helping with weeding, those types of environments. It's always crucial too to stay in contact with your PTO and PTAs. A lot of families are gonna look for more information that they may not get as quickly from school administrators, and these types of organizations are great parent-to-parent information that you can share. New PTO, new PTA presidents come aboard every July, so it's a great way to interact with who's coming aboard in a leadership role for parents at your local school, and then how can you help get the word out about what scouting has to offer and what you're doing to stay and get kids involved. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to be a large pack. You can just break down your programming into small den environments and still deliver the same promise and fun that scouting has to offer that you've done in the past. Ask for help, share ideas. We're here to help you out. Love to bounce new ideas and new strategies and think of ways that we can deliver them. And there's no magic bullet to what we have to offer, and every community's and Cub Scout pack is going to be different. It's going to take teamwork. We do know that there's areas of weakness in delivering Cub Scouting in a hybrid model, whether it's virtual plus some small group in-person events. You know, some of those are, do you have a Zoom account? Online programming is going to lead to a whole lot of burnout for parents, not even for the scouts too, right? So, you know, meetings online, school online. The way that we delivered our Granite base camp at home summer camp model this year is a great example of that hybrid type program that we're encouraging people to utilize. A very small amount of virtual type experiences, but doing more family-based activities, guided activities for the scout to do with their parent, guardian, or as a whole family. You know, campouts in the backyard, going on a hike, utilizing our camp properties to do the wolves' paws on the path adventure loop, for example. All those resources of breaking down the requirements in the handbook into family-based programming or small den programming that you can do together at a local park or outside, or at your home together as a family. Begin preparing now. If you haven't started thinking about whether or not you're going to be able to offer and have the resources to do virtual recruitment event in September, start thinking about it now. Start asking questions about how we can help deliver those and get those materials ready for you. Prepare your DIN meeting plans and think about what are ways inside the Adventure Loop programming and requirements that you can break down into short segments that could really be done as a family outside of a computer screen, or how can you offer that inside of a small group DIN model. So same process, just breaking it down a little bit differently. And start using Scoutbook. If you don't use Scoutbook, there's a ton of features in here that not only the DIN leader experiences are inside Scoutbook, but great ways for you to communicate with families, and also ways for you to invite people to come out and try scouting before they join. So asking other families and friends to come out on a local hike, or meeting together for a cookout at a park. And Scoutbook does offer a guest profile, kind of a full featured 14-day program. And then once that person joins, all of the activities and communications that they did inside Scoutbook will attach to their BSA member profile. If you haven't checked out the DIN leader experiences, those are great resources that are available for you to use. And as I mentioned, these new tutorials for Adventure Loop requirements will be available in September. Brand resource, #1 spot for all the approved resources to promote your unit. It's very important that you maintain kind of the BSA brand identity, not changing the logos or adding a girl in front of Scouts, for example, or putting a Girl Scout logo and a Cub Scout logo on the same flyer. All those pieces as well, to make sure, one, we don't confuse people about the programs that we offer, but two, also to make sure that we stay consistent with the BSA model. Actively promote, actively market the fun things that your unit's doing. Look at resources like the Family Fun Fest. There will be another one in September. So if you missed the one on the 8th of August, there will be another one coming up. Use these and the ideas of the activities that are being offered as a model for things that you can do in a virtual environment. We'll be offering some more kind of hands-on activities this fall as well. And then think about, do you share scouting and talk about the fun that you have with your friends? And then if you do, how come they don't join? So those are all things that we, need to think about, is what are some of the obstacles and things that even your friends have? And then how do we adapt to those to encourage more families to participate and join? So those are some of the strategies there as well. The plug for Family Fun Fest, August 8th, it's going to be on Facebook Live. If you go to scouting.org /Family Fun Fest, there'll be all the schedule of the events. You can check out our Facebook page for information about what's coming up. A lot of good prizes that you can win as well. We did have a question. Give me 1 second. What suggestions do you have for trying to get families to actually join Zoom meetings? Very good. Good suggestion and question. What we're finding is even the units that are being active and participating in a virtual environment, they're getting less attendance. So it is a challenge, and a lot of that is very similar to kind of a webinar experience. How much are we delivering to you versus the interaction? So what we've really encouraged, even at the troop level as well as the Cub Scout level, is really focusing on that DIN and patrol experience. If you can't get the whole unit together, using Zoom and other online platforms as a way just to connect, to talk about things that are coming up, or to go over some basic strategies as far as what's coming up in the DIN meeting, things that you need to talk about as a DIN leader. But using the small group environment with social distancing, getting outside, getting together as a way to kind of bridge the hybrid disconnect between a 100% virtual program and not being able to be 100% together. So we really do encourage that you continue to try where safe and possible to do so. get together in kind of that small group environment, because everybody does really enjoy seeing one another and participating that way as well. We don't believe you'll ever get 100% attendance in an online environment just because that disconnect is there. But it is a great way to use the hybrid model of just using online as touch points, and then having resources and communicate in other mediums to deliver the scouting program. This is kind of just the overview. Our goal tonight was to showcase all the things that we're doing to help with membership and marketing of Cub Scouts, and share with you resources that are coming up as well as resources that are available now. There were a few questions that we didn't get to this evening. Please put it into the Q&A here. Any question that you submitted in advance of tonight's webinar, if we didn't get to it, there were two that we did not. We'll follow up with you individually as well, so we can give you some very specific info that you were looking for. There's a question from Elizabeth Muller. Does the BSA insurance cover den meetings at a den leader's home, Derek?
Sure, thanks, Tyler. And the quick answer is yes. The qualifier to that is so long as all BSA policies and procedures, including youth protection, are being followed as part of that activity. So making sure that it's a safe environment, and that there is the two deep leadership.
Great, thanks, Derek. And in the COVID environment too, it's something that we don't recommend that you utilize currently. One is, it's potential of bringing exposure into your own home, and then sometimes just not the ability to social distance. So, those are things that you want to factor in as well if you're offering in-person meetings in your home. What are the parameters that you have in place for social distancing, as well as limiting any exposure to your family? A question, if we'll be posting the slides. Yes, we will be posting the slides as well as the recorded presentation tonight. So you'll be able to, one, have the slides available, and two, if you would like to go back and rewatch portions of tonight's presentation.
Great, thanks everyone. This concludes our program this evening. We appreciate you spending a little time with us tonight to learn more about the fall recruiting. If there are other questions, we've put our email addresses in the chat. Feel free to reach out. Also, please watch the Membership and Marketing Hub for updated information as we continue throughout the remainder of the summer and into the fall. Thanks everyone, and have a great